No manhole cover is being left unturned in the security arrangements around St Paul's Cathedral. The police and those invited to celebrate the life of Margaret Thatcher have an eye on groups ranging from dissident Irish Republicans to anti-capitalists. After all, she was and remains a hero to some and a villain to others.
Margaret Thatcher had said she didn't want a state funeral because she thought it might attract too much attention, but it's not as though this is low-key. Her ceremonial service will have the same status as that afforded to the late Princess Diana. In death as in life, it appears, Margaret Thatcher simply couldn't avoid being divisive.
Roll the defining images from the life of Margaret Thatcher, and her defenders remember the defeat of the anti-democratic socialist junta of the union movements. The victory over another junta in defending Britain's dignity and sovereignty in the South Atlantic. The redistribution of wealth and opportunity her economic reforms provided to every Briton. Some say she deserves a museum in her name, something that will live on forever.
I want to look at some sort of education centre that trains and inspires the next generation about those conservative philosophical beliefs that she held so dear. A living legacy would mean much more to her than a statue or things being named after her.
Yet if you run the very same pictures through a different filter, you get the opposite view. The crushing of the miners' strike, which destroyed the hopes of generations. The imperialist war to defend a piece of rock that should have belonged to Argentina. The great sell-off of Britain and betrayal of manufacturing that made a few very rich and created the conditions which caused the banking crash of 2008. These people say her funeral is a cause for protest.
We cannot allow the myths and lies about Thatcher to be used to entrench and buttress the present attacks which the Conservative government is making. Instead, we should use the memory of Thatcher to warn us about what happens when untrammelled power of the ruling class and of the bosses is used against working people.
They've been rehearsing Margaret Thatcher's final journey. Central London will stop on Wednesday morning. But the arguments over what she did, what she stood for, still raise the strongest emotions. Laurence Lee, Al Jazeera, London.